What's up, guys? I'm super excited to have this live stream today, introduce you to a person, to a woman that I came across to Instagram scrolling. And there's something about her that inspired me. She's really soft. She's really into self-care. She's really into communicating with animals that I think it's so interesting and unusual and amazing. So I'm going to read you a little bit about her, and then I'm going to bring it on for an interview. Katz is her name. She's a meditation teacher, an animal communicator, and the author of the best-selling Hot Mess to Mindful Mom trilogy. She's passionate about working with pet parents and their animals to create stronger bonds and to give animals a voice in the world. Ali shares her gift with people around the world, and she has been featured on NBC, ABC, Fox News, CBS, Family Circle Magazine, The Houston Chronicle, and more. Her website, which you're going to see the link in a minute, is allikatz.com, and I'm going to bring in Ali right now.
Hi
All right.
there.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I have rarely heard about somebody that has this ability to communicate with animals. So I am in the process of getting my kids a pet that I don't know yet.
Oh.
It's for Christmas. So I want to know all about it. Tell us all about it. How did you discover that, and how does that work?
So it's really interesting. My journey of transformation started about 10 years ago with meditation, and meditation changed so much in my life for the better that then I decided I had to teach everybody about meditation. I'm a big sharer. So whether I love a lip gloss or a book or meditation, I want to tell everybody about it. So I became a meditation teacher. I did a year-long program and I started teaching meditation. And that just took off. I loved it so much. And then I started writing books and speaking and doing all sorts of things. Well, my transformation then took me into more metaphysical things, energy work, energy clearing, things I needed for myself that then I learned so much about and started helping clients with. Then I started moving into mediumship, traditional mediumship that you would think of like connecting with loved ones in spirit. And then this is where I really say, like, I followed the universal breadcrumbs. Every step of the way, there were just signs that I picked up on that this is the next thing that I needed to do. Okay. Like, I didn't know where I was going, but I was willing to go anywhere the universe led me and investigate and learn. And all of a sudden, in my inbox, I have no idea where it came from, was an email about an animal communication class. And I had been doing traditional mediumship for about a year. And I was like, that's so cool. I've never thought of that. I love animals. I would love to do that. So the fact that it could have gone either way, I could have gotten that email and hit delete. I don't know where that came from, or picked up on the signs from the universe, like this is for you. And I instead signed up for the class. And I went to the class, and the very first animal I connected to 2 dogs that day. And I was like, oh my goodness, everything's been leading to this. I am meant to do this. This is totally for me. And then it just took off from there. Now, looking back,
never heard of it ever before.
I mean, looking back, I can see how one thing led to another. You know, hindsight's 2020. So I can see that everything had to start with meditation, because if I wasn't meditating and I didn't have my strong practice and I wasn't able to get quiet, I wouldn't be able to do these other things. So the universe was like very systematic with me, and it kept taking me to another place until I finally felt like this is the place. So
awesome. It really shows you how, so many of us, we think like, oh, why should I become a meditation teacher? Why should I become a coach? There's so many out there. And it's really just saying yes to what feels good, and then being open enough to see what leads you into the next thing, right? Because that's what I think what you mean by following the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
It's not worrying about step 3 when you're on step 2, embodying fully the step 2, embracing the step 2, feeling the guidance, enjoying being led, enjoying the journey, not just stressing about, oh my God, what am I going to do in step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Exactly. I always say, I've been saying this whole time, like, I'm the best surprise there is. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 10 years, and that's okay. I mean,
awesome.
It's a wonderful surprise. And authenticity is really the key to everything. And what I always want to tell people that say, there's so many other people that do it. There's so many meditation teachers. There's so many coaches. There's so many animal communicators out there. I mean, there's a million.
I didn't, but now they're going to pop up.
Now they're going to pop up. But this is what the point I wanted to make was that nobody does it like you.
No.
So there can be many of what you want to do, but no one's going to do it like you. No one's going to bring to it what you can bring. No one's going to say things the way you can say them. And everything is energy. So some people are going to be attracted to working with me because they like my energy and I make them feel good. And some people are going to be attracted to a different animal communicator, a different meditation teacher. That's okay. There's like enough for everybody. So it's really not worrying about what everybody else is doing and thinking, how can I do it in a different way, or just bring my authenticity to the table?
How do you manage that? Because I'll give you an example. Like for me, I work with women, and one of the biggest challenge I used to face in my life, and my clients constantly face, is that you may feel really empowered in yourself, wake up really feeling good, and then all of a sudden you're opening up your Instagram, scrolling through images, and suddenly, before you know it, just the mechanism of comparing yourself to others takes over, and you go from feeling empowered, energized, and feeling like you're really doing well to questioning whether you're doing enough and wondering, why that woman did this, or she's achieving this and I'm not there yet. How do you, first of all, do you deal with comparison? Does it come in your life at all? And if it comes in, how do you bounce back and stay centered in this lighter, more empowered commitment that you have to your own path? Is there any skills you'd like to share?
Sure. Well, I wouldn't be human if I didn't deal with those emotions like everybody else. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really good goal to get somewhere that nothing like that is ever going to bother you. But as human beings, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So yes, I'd say less and less. I would say when I started my business, I dealt with more of it. And there were a lot more shoulds, like, oh, that person's doing that, I should do that too. So now basically any sentence that starts with should, I'm like, okay, done with that. I take any should off the table, because what I realized was when I was doing what everybody else did, I was squashing my authenticity, and my business didn't grow as fast and didn't do as well when I was worrying about what other people were doing. So when I learned to shut that out, and when I learned to just really follow my heart and do what felt right to me, everything went so much better, and I was so much more successful. So I can see that track record. But when I do go on Instagram, let's say, and have a feeling of comparison or judgment of myself or something like that, what I do is I immediately get off. If I have that punch in the gut feeling, I'm like, this is not what Instagram is for. I come on here to connect with people, to feel inspired. And if I'm feeling like I'm comparing or I'm feeling like I'm judging myself, then I get off. And I'm also finding the more boundaries I have around social media, the better. So I take the weekends off, and 2 days a week I don't go on. So I'm trying to limit how much time I spend, because as amazing and wonderful as it is for so many positive things, there are some negatives, and I want to try to limit that in my life. So I am managing my time on social media the best I can also.
That's really, really helpful, Holly, because I think that's really like watching the shoulds. What is this other person doing is a really big one right now, because there's a tendency of either being stagnant and not doing anything, or feeling like the need to pick up and do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And especially for us online entrepreneur, there's like so much of that going on. And
but feel if people can feel that if you're doing it for the wrong reason, then it's the energy behind it isn't like, this is something a lot of people have told me.
Sometimes it's not so obvious, sometimes it's not so black and white. Sometimes you could totally sense that the person is doing because of that. But sometimes the person starts doing it for the right reason. And then all the reasons come in, right? And so it's taking it away from that cool energy, that flow, that drive, and that purpose. Because, you start for the right reason. And then you get to that place to say, oh, I just need to give up because I'm doing it for the wrong reason. But it's not necessarily that you're always doing it for the wrong reason. Is that
Of
that
course.
comparison that it's so ingrained in our mind, especially with women, to look at what the other woman is doing, to look at how much she has been achieving, to look at what she has, and to then measure your own worth against her, comes in and diverts.
Well, here's another perspective. I also really started having gratitude for people that were further along on their path and their journey and their business than me. And instead of saying, oh, that's not fair, I want that, or, the comparison and all of that, I sort of switched to like, wow, thanks for showing me what's possible. If she can do it, so can I. She is leading the way. She is leading the charge. She is showing me what can be done and if she can achieve it, so can I. So I used it more of inspiration than of like feelings of jealousy or envy or resentment or something like that. And that was a really big game changer too. And I think the universe really picks up on that energy. It's such a different energy. And, it's more love, it's more gratitude, it's more thanks. And, everything's vibration. So the more you're up here, the more is going to meet you here. So,
and it shows like your energy is very uplifted. You're very energetic. Your vibe is really cool. That's why, without knowing you, I was trying to Instagram. Like, I want to interview this woman just because, no, just like purely to say, I want to know what she has to say. It definitely shows, and it shows also because you're so committed to the journey. Like, you want the destination. That doesn't mean that one cannot be ambitious. But when you're committed to the journey itself, when you're willing to pick up the breadcrumbs, when you're willing to co-create, when you're willing to receive guidance along the way and shift your path according to that guidance as you open up more and more and more, like you said, first you went into the meditation without worrying about what's going to happen. Are there other meditation teachers? Then once you got to the meditation, you allow yourself to be guided into this next phase of your career and of your spirituality and guidance, which is to communicate with animals. And guys, if you're tuning in right now, I want you to know that I am about to get a pet, and she's going to be my best friend because I want to know what my pet is.
So are you getting a dog or a cat, or what are you getting?
A dog. It's supposed to born during Christmas, so we'll see.
Okay.
But,
so exciting.
Yes,
so
it's called Pumi. It's not very well known in the United States, but my son fell in love with it. It's a little shepherd from home. So,
okay, I'm gonna look it up when we get off. That sounds adorable.
Our first dog. I've had cats in the past, but it's our first dog. So
it's the best. They're the best. Yeah. So sweet.
So guys, if you're tuning in and you want that support, you have their website right there, hollycatz.com. I want you to reach out and let Holly know how she can bring in this new level of connection, because obviously there's a deep connection between pets and but this could be on another level. So tell me how you do it. How does that work?
So I'm basically making a soul-to-soul connection. Every living thing has a soul, has a consciousness. So if you think about a traditional medium that people think of, connecting to your loved ones in spirit, let's say, okay, or they are connecting to the soul of your loved ones. I'm connecting to the soul of an animal. So I can work with animals that are alive. I can work with animals that have passed and are in spirit, because I'm connecting to their soul, and the soul doesn't ever die. The soul continues on. So it's the most incredible, joyful. I mean, some readings are really hard emotionally. I do end of life readings where people are getting ready to say goodbye to their animals, and they have some questions and they want to know exactly how they want it done. Those are very emotional readings. Readings, where people are connecting with their animals that have passed, can be very emotional. So it's not all like, woo, like bring out the balloons, but it's always a beautiful connection and so special. And then the day-to-day readings with, people that want to check in about their animals, like what's their favorite things to do? What do they want more in their lives? What are their favorite activities? What are their favorite treats and food? Do they want another pet in the house. Sometimes we work on behavior. Sometimes we work on if animals have pain in the body, their physical being. It can be anything and everything. I give sample lists of questions that people
Mhm.
can choose from, but there's basically no question that's off limits. It's whatever you want to know from your animal. So,
And it can happen online.
so what happens is a pet parent gives me a picture
Mhm.
and they give me a list of questions. So I send them an email of everything I need from them. Basically, I need a picture, I need your animal's name, and I need your list of questions. I
Mhm.
connect with the animal using the picture. Okay. And I make the connection that way. And then after I do the reading, I'm with your animals for about an hour. And then I get with the pet parents on Zoom or on the phone, and I keep that connection open. So if parents, as I'm giving all the information that I got from the animal and they have questions or they want clarification, we can do like a little three-way conversation with the parents, myself, and the animals and get clarification on anything that they need. And it's just the coolest amazing experience. I love it. I
I,
can't believe it's my job.
yeah, what I love the most about, and for you guys that are watching, you're gonna watch it later. Can you see how her face lights up when she speaks about what? Okay, so that's what I want you all to know that you can do. It doesn't matter like what it is that you're doing, what you choose to do in your life. Do something that brings to you as much joy as Allie is experiencing when she speaks about this. That's why it's inspiring. That's why I want to be inspirational people. We are going through some of the hardest moments on a global level, like probably the most difficult time historically. And I believe that the only way to fight darkness is with light.
Mhm.
Light doesn't only means being nice, it means having light, something that light you up. And choosing your passion, whatever that is, being open like she was open to shift their direction, to pick up the, breadcrumbs. Yes, Lucy, it's a boy. And Lucy, she speaks with animal. Lucy loves like pets. So we had like an experience with our pet back in time. But it's great. It's being light up is what really is going to heal us. It's going to give us this drive to move forward and change and make the right
Yeah.
choices. And I want to expose all of you with people that I lit up before the year because I don't want to end this year in so much darkness. I think
Yeah.
it's so important to elevate that because people think that the only way to elevate is to do certain things, like, which are nice. Meditate, yes. Pray, yes. Exercise, yes. Move your body, yes. Be kind, all yes. But you also need to find that passion, that drive, that lightness. I think about things that are so important to our well-being, that it fuels our purpose and really makes us greater humans. Because when you are so inspired, like you were doing in that moment, is giving this live example of you speaking and says the coolest thing in the world. It's like you're turning into a little girl that is excited, like, because that's
Yeah.
how we're born. We are born like little kids, excited about things, and then it's so hard to get excited about anything because
Yeah.
we forget to have that freedom that you did and being able to shift direction and pick up on what feels inspiring and own it fully. So thank you so much for showing us a
Of
powerful
course.
example um, doing that. It's awesome.
Thank
I
you.
live for this because I think that there's information, there's knowledge, and then there's experience. And when people experience that, is such an eye opener that even if you haven't figured out yet what you want to do in your life, it doesn't mean it's not happening. Just
There's
take
so much happening behind the scenes.
yeah,
So much of it for me is trusting the universe, having faith. I'm being guided in the right direction, looking for the signs, picking up on the signs. I mean, we have free will. We can choose, the signs can be there and we can choose, are we going to take it or are we going to ignore it? That's free will.
Mhm.
We all have that. But I do believe we're all being guided. So it's about keeping yourself open, putting yourself out there, and taking inspired action. I pray every day, universe, put all the, breadcrumbs in front of me. I will take all the inspired action. anything that's in front of me, any phone call I need to make, any interview I need to say yes to, anyone like put it there. I'll do it. I will,
Yeah.
so it's about putting yourself out there and taking that action. You can wish all day long, but nothing's going to happen without action.
True.
So it's the key. And not being willing, I mean, not being scared to shift, like you were saying. And, it's funny, I ran into somebody that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and she was like, what are you doing these days? I can never keep up with what you're doing because you're always doing different things. And I'm like, you know what? As I evolve, so does what I offer the world. So, no,
Yeah.
I'm offering the world different things than I was 5 years ago, but I think that's cool. So,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
can-
and the
I
other thing is you don't have to answer to anyone. You don't.
yeah.
And you have to make yourself happy. No one is paying that much attention anyway. Everyone's really self-involved and worrying about their life and what's going on with them. So do what makes you happy. And if that means make it. Make it. You know?
Totally, totally. I agree with you. Also, because I think sometimes when humans come in and they have that kind of a comment, like, "Oh, I can never keep up with you," it's because it's intimidating to them to know that you are doing different things.
I don't even know. I didn't even like give it like maybe, but I didn't. You can take
So
anything as a positive or a negative.
somebody who constantly is able to shift.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, maybe. But my theory is also you never regret the things you do. You only regret the things you don't do. Because if you
Totally.
do something and it doesn't work out, you're still going to learn, you're still going to evolve, you're still going to grow. It's going to still help you lean into more of a direction of what you want. Sometimes you have to figure it out by what you don't want. That can be part of it. But you don't have to have regrets. You don't ever have to say, I didn't try and I should have and I wish I had. So I'm all about just taking a chance.
So, Ali, let me ask you something. When it comes to, I don't know why I can hear myself going off. I don't know why.
Okay,
So
I
anyway,
can hear you.
live stuff. So when you do not feel like there's a sign, there's a question I get all the time. Are there times where you feel like you're asking for a sign for the universe, but you are not receiving that guidance, where you're feeling blocked from that guidance? How do you handle that? Because this is when we are sometimes in a dark spot. What we tend to do is to block that guidance, right? We do not receive it. Whether it's not there, we are just not able to receive it. And then we get into this dark place where we say like, oh, I don't know which action to take because I don't feel guided. I don't feel inspired. And I believe that in life, in business, in relationship, you cannot only show up when you feel inspired. Sometimes you need to show up, and by showing up and try to do something, that's where you get the guidance. Even if you try to do something and it does not feel right, there is a guidance that it doesn't feel right. How do you handle? What would you say to people right now watching this and say, well, good for you, Ali, you get guidance, you get signs everywhere. I pray to God, I pray to the universe for breadcrumbs, but I don't see them. What would you say to them?
That's a really great question. Okay, I think there's a couple different prongs here. I think first of all I would say, how are you taking care of yourself physically? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? How are you taking care of your energy? Do you clear your energy every night? Do you make sure you haven't picked up things that don't belong to you? Do you set your intention to be clear, be an open channel? So, I think that is hugely important. And then I think having that trust and saying, maybe it's not going to happen the way I expected. We can't put parameters on how the guidance comes. So you might be saying, I only want it this way. Well, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to come. So you have to stay open and you have to keep that trust and you have to keep that faith. And, I guess I would probably pray and say, like, guides, I feel blocked. Please give me the strength to be patient, to notice the signs. Help me feel more clear. Help put it in front of me. Help me pick up on it. Help me feel more inspired. And then a lot of it is detaching. Then you have to say, okay, now I'm going to trust. And it's not, and then you have to go about your life and take your inspired action and do what you need to do to move forward. And I promise you, the guidance will come. It's like you ask for something and then 3 days you have to let it go, and then 3 days later you're driving your car and it's like a download, and it's like, that's what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
do, that's what I'm supposed to say. But you had to let go, live your life, do everything you can do to take care of yourself, and allow. So you can't put parameters on, I need to know in the next hour and I need to know this way. You have to build those muscles of trust and staying open. And every time I have felt blocked and I have said, okay, I'm just going to stay open, I'm just going to be patient, within a couple days, the answers come. They really do. So I can only share my experience, but it's when you least expect it. You're taking a walk and you stop short and you're like, that's it. It will come if you wait.
I love that you brought up, the body. The things I do, I always tell people that I believe the body is the gateway to connect to yourself, right? Not so much something you need to fix, but when they feel blocked in other areas of their life. I love that the first question that you said is like, are you taking care of your body? Because I believe it's when we're not taking care of our bodies, when we're not sleeping well, when we're not eating well, when we're not feeling at ease with our own container, because it is a container of who we are, then it's hard to get the right messages, right? It's almost going on a boat that is not functioning properly, and it's right to float on water when you have
Yeah. I mean, this is the house that our soul lives in. It's our soul's house. So we need to take care of it. And my number one thing, I will say, I didn't say this, getting into nature for me is where I receive a lot of guidance. So if you're feeling blocked, I would say go take a walk without your phone, without a podcast, without music. Don't talk to anyone. Go take a walk in nature by yourself and just be. And I did that. I've written 3 books. Before every single chapter that I wrote, I would take a walk and I would start the walk and I would say, universe, what should I write about? Please help me remember what stories I should tell, what from my past I should bring in. How can I best get this message across? And I would go take a walk, and then I would come back and I would sit down on my computer and just, it would all spill out. So for me, nature is a huge key. So if people don't do that already, I would say, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what can come through on a walk.
Exciting, guys. So if you're feeling blocked in this moment of your life, that you do not know how to be as lit up as Ellie is about her life and her business or her creativity or her passion, she gave you some really, really cool prompt, which I will summarize for you. And Ellie, if I'm missing one, let me know. She said, first of all, to surrender, right? To set that expectation, set that desire, that communication, connect, and then surrender. Not be so tied up in your desire. Allow them, that guidance, to come in on its own. Give it a few days. Go on in your life and see what's happening. Grab the little breadcrumb path and be willing to shift along the way. Walk in nature, not with a podcast, not with music, but allowing yourself to just be and setting that intention to really receive guidance from the universe. Take care of your body, rest, eat well, stay hydrated, stay connected. And am I missing anything?
I think that's it. Trust and faith, just that surrender. I mean, that's the key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So if you do this thing, if you're getting towards the end of the year and you feel heavy and you feel frustrated and you feel like not connected and not inspired about your life, just do some of this thing that our girl today shared with us. And I know that you will be on your way to bounce back to center. Ali, thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. Guys, check out alikatz.com. She is incredible. I can't wait to have my coming pet meet her once we meet. And to have this connection is just totally fascinating for me. So reach out for her. She's on Instagram. She has her own website, and make sure you connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.